you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Great.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dion. This is
Okay.
and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk. How was your day?
It was a good day. It was productive. I was
Good.
productive at work.
Good. Work is work at the end of the day. It's been a really, really long day, and we are here to have another good discussion. This is actually a discussion that is really relevant in what's going on in our lives right now. Um, so, episode 2 is going to be about blended families, um, blending families.
Yeah.
So, blended, just that subject pretty much. In this day and era, you know, there's a lot of that, just because of how times have changed now. And, a lot of the times, a lot of couples that are getting together now already have children. And so it's typically a blended situation. And so, you know, particularly with our situation, we're blending and blended. Well, we've already blended. So,
Right.
uh, so yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic. But at the end of the day, if done right, you can be great. It's definitely family oriented environment. And so far, what it's been like almost 3 months since we consolidated our family. So far, it's been a really good experience. Now, of course, we have older children, and y'all seen her give y'all that look. What was that?
You said it's been a really good experience.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been terrible. We ain't had no fights. We ain't been, ain't nobody been, cussing each other out. It's been actually kind of copacetic for the most part. It's been smooth.
I'm a, yeah, it's been okay. It's
Yeah,
it's still hard. Like
it's work.
it's work.
Yeah.
It's work. Just period. It's just work. Um, we do fine
Mm-hmm.
because we okay with each other. I don't know. I think they still argue too,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't necessarily see it. But I know they do.
Right.
Um, Even getting them to clean up, that's hard. That's blending. That's not just our kids. That's most blending families. Like nobody want to do more than the other.
Yeah. You're right.
Nobody.
It's
So
funny because a lot of the times you just look at kids like kids, but then when you look at them, you be like, damn, I remember doing some of that same shit when I was a kid. Or same stuff. Sorry, we gotta keep this PG. Well,
I'll
I
try.
don't think we've done a good job so far, but we're gonna try to control our language. You know how YouTube can be, so
I guess you too.
yeah, you know how YouTube can be.
I thought,
We gotta
well,
we gotta respect it. So it's what it is. But yeah, nah, it's for me it's I guess it has its moments, but I look at the overall picture, like of how smooth things are going for the majority of the time. And yeah, you're right. It's hard to get them to clean, to do chores, just basic chores around the house. Like they don't. Man, these kids don't want to do nothing. But
they
at the
still,
end of the
but there's
day,
like communication.
yeah,
they'll only tell you
Yeah.
and not tell me,
Yeah.
and expect us to tell each other. Because Sky asked me, she like, you should tell Dion. Like,
Mhm.
no, you should tell Dion, or vice versa. I feel like if Kenny telling you something, you need to tell me too.
Mhm.
Don't think that it's just up to you,
Yeah.
or just ask you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're right. I mean,
It's hard for them to ask the other parent,
yeah.
not just your
Well,
kids and
I
my
think
kids
I've
too.
noticed a pattern. I've noticed a pattern.
What's the
They have
pattern?
specific goal. I think they have specific reasons for asking one parent or another. So I think I've noticed a pattern, and so I'm like, because when they feel like they like, say if they want to go somewhere or do something right, they don't they don't know how you're gonna react to saying when they ask you, they don't know how you're gonna react, and then they just ask me because they don't even ask me. They just kind of like, hey, we're gonna go over here and go over there, and I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah. They don't necessarily ask me. They just kind of tell me. So that's why sometimes I think, well, maybe they did ask her because they're like telling me they're gonna do this instead of like asking me.
Yeah.
But then like when if I think when they need something for real and they like they know they're gonna hear your mouth, but they still gotta ask you anyway, then they'll come to you.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just like our dynamic, or is that majority people's dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know. So when we talking about blended families, it's like the kids probably blend good, but do they blend well with us?
Yeah.
Not kids. Kids gonna be kids. Okay. They gonna argue, gonna do all that, right? Nobody wanna do more than the other, right? So now it's us. Like when we first moved together, I think you great, but do the kids think you great? I never thought about that. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn. When somebody is saying they don't like somebody, it's like, what? Thought everything's great, you know? So it's like when you blended families, the kids might not think the other person is great. Just because you think they're great, don't mean the kids think they're great.
Right.
It's up to the kids to get to know that person, why you think they're great or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the issue. Just period. And the other stuff stem from that issue.
Right.
You don't think so?
No, I do think so. Um, but I believe it's weird. It's for me. I think it's a multi level variable situation because I think in some areas, like for instance, our our situation, in some areas they've warmed up to me, and in other areas they still may have not. And even like uh, when we've had those moments, like you just mentioned, I believe that sometimes things are just said out of momentary thoughts or emotions. They do, but that may not be their actions may not reflect that. And I think that for me, that's one of the things that I've learned, even from that last situation that we had, is that maybe she was feeling some type of way during that moment, and that just came out because it hasn't been that, and I know that, you kind of addressed, you did address the situation.
Yes.
You addressed it, but at the same time, I do think that there's still a high level of, I would say, tolerance and acceptance, especially considering, um, you know, the totality of what's going on with our family unit now. So I think it is. I believe that it's all a matter of really just making sure that you maintain frame in the home, and especially the man, he has to have proper leadership, because you have to maintain order at the very least.
Yeah.
At the very least, order has to be maintained, and so like I told you, I've seen blended situations that just go horrible even from the very beginning. And I don't see that. We've been very blessed because our kids are older as well. So that's a totally different variable, but thank goodness that our kids have pretty much somewhat similar upbringings um, as far as their general behavior. And so I think that really plays in our favor, you know. I really do. Seriously.
It plays in, yeah, I guess. I mean, them being older is
Yeah.
the main factor.
But they're still good kids though, all of
Yeah.
them. All of them are good kids. We've seen terrible kids, and they're not that. So that's a blessing. It really is. When I look at them, I go, damn,
It could be
like
worse.
man, it could be way worse. They could be some of those kids who are, you see them at the school, they crazy. They don't respect their parents. They don't have no respect for nobody. They just live in their own world. They live in their own bubble. And our kids are very respectful. They're
What if they
responsible.
wasn't? Blending
That'd be
families
horrible. Yeah, probably wouldn't have worked. I don't think I could have really. I don't think it would have been conducive for me to put myself under that kind of situation, especially even my son around that kind of situation.
real quick.
Okay. Cheers to another episode.
Hey, baby.
Whew. So, like I said, I don't think that I would have subjected myself to that. That's something that I probably would have noticed like right away, instantly. And unfortunately, that's a factor that a lot of guys think about.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Would that have mattered?
Oh yeah, it would have
moving
mattered
forward?
big time. Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, it's happened to me before. It's happened to a lot of other guys before too, I'm sure.
What happened before?
Just like being in a dating scene and having to disqualify certain people just because of their children. You just know that it just wouldn't work. So
That's crazy.
yeah. And
Yeah.
in no time when I met you, did your kids exhibit anything that would make me go, oh no, oh no, just no, I couldn't do that.
Ghetto, huh?
Yeah, just a little.
Me?
Huh?
Me?
No, no,
Or
no, no,
that's
no.
ghetto.
That's it. That's ghetto. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang. So you wouldn't be like, we just can't live together.
No. Because for me, like, you can't really be with somebody if you're living apart, you know? And so I thought about it. I thought about just kind of having a relationship from a distance. But then what happens?
You get
Eventually
distant.
eventually it always like consolidates. It's just inevitable. That's just how it happens. Right? And so you can only do the distance thing for so long before it gets old. And then you're wondering like, what's next? You know? But for me, like I told you, inevitably, like I've always like I like having a family. So
I mean, I like, I tolerate kids. I don't like kids all the time,
hmm
but that's you got a room for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think that it's been going pretty good.
It has.
Yeah. And then with the wedding coming up, um, I really am excited, to have my new family standing by us while we're taking pictures and getting married and stuff. It's gonna be great. It really is.
It's some more blending coming.
Yeah.
About to blend not just our in-home family, now our
hmm
extended family.
And oh my goodness, guys, we got so much family that are coming in. Like,
Surely do.
oh my goodness. Family that I haven't seen in so long, and I'm really excited. Like seriously, like when I think about it more and more, I'm like, wow, this is really gonna happen.
Why would it happen?
No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm
Oh,
just saying like, wow, this is really gonna happen. Like I'm really gonna
see
see
everybody.
see everybody.
Just like I said, it's like it's more about um seeing everybody in a celebration and not like a funeral. Like this is a celebration.
Yeah.
So
hmm
I'm excited.
So if you could take away anything from blending a family, right? If you could just sum it up, if you could give somebody three pieces of advice when it comes to blending a family, like women out there, if you could give them three pieces of advice, what would you say to them? Like three solid pieces of advice that would really help them keep things, for the most part, smooth. You're gonna have those speed bumps, and you're gonna, go through those trials and tribulations sometimes, but not the majority of the time. So
You
for
know,
the majority of the time, what would you say? Like, give them three pieces of advice.
I just can't come up with the top of the head like that. But
Okay, well, let's
okay,
start with just one then. Yeah.
Okay. I can't say communicate because that's, you know that.
hmm
Be flexible. Literally be flexible.
Okay.
Because even though we got similar parenting styles, we still got different parenting styles.
Yeah.
So when you blend in families, they're not going to be used to your parenting style. So be flexible and listen.
Yeah. And that's assuming that you guys actually found the right people with the right kids, okay? Because
What if they don't, though? I mean,
well, I mean that's a lost cause. I hate to say it, but can't imagine that's like living in chaos. Like, who would want to? willingly subject themselves to that. Seriously, think about it. If you met a guy, right, and he had some kids, such as I do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But say my kids were just completely unruly. You couldn't see that. You couldn't see that working out. Let's be real. Exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's contingent upon finding the woman with kids that are respectful and tame, and just are like normal kids and not like unruly, crazy kids that just.
Or what if like a blended family had like you came in with no kids? You think that
Ooh,
would work?
it all depends. I think it could work. I think it could absolutely work. Just depends on the age range of the kids. Just depends on if it's. I believe it's the age range of the kids. Like if the kids, I think the best way that will work is like when the kids are kind of younger. You know what I mean? Because they view it differently. You know what I
Right.
mean? They view it differently when they're younger. So I think a situation like that could work a little better when the kids are younger. I would say maybe between the ages of like 5 and 8. I would say that would probably be a good time. No, probably before that. Maybe like 4 to 7. 4 to 7.
Yeah.
4 to 7 is like a good age range. I think that could work, just because you're not necessarily bringing more kids as well into it. So the dynamic is kind of different, especially if you guys don't have any kids together. Now, if you guys are gonna have kids together, that's a totally different thing, But if you're not gonna have any kids together, then yeah, I believe it's definitely more feasible in that age range. And then, of course, the older the kid gets, I think that would make it kind of more difficult, just because of how some kids may view it, like, oh, like you're sitting up here trying to parent me and you
You
don't
don't
even
have
have any
kids.
kids. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
it's different for older kids and for younger kids, so and I don't think that it would necessarily be conducive when the kids are really young, like baby age. Because if
Right.
somebody doesn't have kids, right, they're not going to understand that level of patience that you have to have with kids, being that young and having to, and they have to require that much care. Little kids have to, like young kids have to require a lot of care, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to I'd say about 4. About four is when they really start to become, interdependent, and they start to get a little bit of the independence. So yeah, but like yeah, newborn to 4 is like a zone where I don't think that it would necessarily work too well for people who don't have kids.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it will work too well.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
unless they were planning on having their own kids. If sometime in between that time period they had their own kids, it would be a totally different story. You know, especially if they had a support system, it would be a totally different story. But like, somebody who doesn't have kids, and then if they possibly were to take on, if they possibly were to get in that relationship, now they have kind of shared duties to take care of say a 2-year-old, right, or a 1-year-old, right, and so
Oh shit.
yes,
No.
oh, you funny. What, the shot kicked in?
Yes.
Oh
my
wow. So, but in either case, like I said, I just think it's really contingent upon people making good decisions about the people that they pick, and with the children as well. You just got to pay attention to it because it's really, really, really tricky blending families. It is. It's super tricky. They fail so often. They probably fail more than they're successful.
I
You
think
know,
you're
at a
right.
very, very high rate.
I think you might be right.
So that's for a reason. You know, it's not easy. It's really not. So we would all like in an ideal world, you know, it'd be nice to just go out into the dating market and just, you know, find someone with kids and just live happily ever after. But
It don't work like that.
no, there's variables to it. There's always going to be variables to it. Like, you know, and there's always decisions to make. And you have to think about the outcome that you want, you know, and how long are you planning on being in that situation for? Is it a long term? You want to be serious about it, marry it, you know?
I know, because you can blend families and not be married, huh?
Yeah, not be married, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or not getting married. Just in a long-term relationship.
Right.
Damn.
It's like a whole different aspect to it, you know?
It is.
Especially like I would say like, it's really hard like, I would say like the average guy's perspective who really wants to try to have a family. And just in today's age, because let's be honest, like if if you're in your 30s, like if you're in your 30s and you're a guy, 9 times out of 10, especially in our community, you know, it'll be really difficult for you to run into a woman your age without kids. So that's all. That's kind of like almost like an anticipated
So it's almost
scenario.
inevitable.
Yeah, it's like inevitable. Yeah, it's an anticipated scenario that a lot of guys, you know, go into, and they're just like, well, you know, a lot of guys don't know how to navigate it, and they end up getting in really bad situations with not so good, you know,
Not so good, boy.
people in the situation. So, yeah.
Yeah. So blending families is difficult.
It is. It's, you know what? Okay, here's the thing. I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's challenging.
It's,
I would use the word challenging because difficult, in my opinion, difficult is just like impossible. You know what I mean? Just, it's like difficult is like it'll never change. Difficult is the bad situation. That's a difficult situation.
oh, like with the kids, that's just horrible.
It was just horrible, terrible. Yeah.
It's just not gonna work.
Yeah, that's a difficult situation. A challenging situation is a normal situation, and most situations are challenging. You know, when it comes to blended families, they're challenging. But you know, challenges can always be overcome. You know, so.
So you asked me my advice.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice that you give? Can you give 3 things, or can you?
No, I can give 3 things. I can give 3 things.
Okay. Let's see.
So, my 3 things is first, it definitely comes, you know, down to self accountability and really making sure you choose someone that, as far as the parameters go of blending a family, you choose someone that actually does have children that are well mannered and civilized and respectful. And that would actually make the situation much more conducive to like smoother overall health of of the blended situation, because that's a, like you were saying earlier, you know, when situations like you try to blend the family and the kids aren't necessarily jiving, and they're just kind of being non like combative towards just the overall blending and trying to get along. It makes it really, really hard, you know? So I just feel like you just got to make sure that you, unfortunately, it's a big factor you got to think about.
But is the kids getting along a big factor?
Well, no. Well, okay. If you guys are blending kids, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
huge, yes. Because it's going to be constant fights, like literally physical fights, constant arguing, constant bickering, um, constant like tattletelling, constant. It's just everything's constant, you know, and that's just not a good dynamic, because somebody could get hurt. Somebody could get really hurt, especially in today's day and age. You know, these kids are so quick to act out emotionally and just do whatever, you know, their chemical reaction tells them to do, and they do it. And then they're regretting it later, but by that time it's already done. So you know, we hear stories every day of, you know, blended families fighting, step siblings fighting, killing each other.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I guess as a whole, yeah, that shit do matter.
It does. It sucks.
That's not.
It sucks that it has to be a factor, but it has to be a factor. You gotta,
Yeah, because
you have to have some self accountability and pick the right person with the right kids. Seriously.
Yeah, at first I was thinking it shouldn't matter really if the kids don't get along.
Mm-hmm.
And then like now that you say that, it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it matter. Damn. It's not just like just because I love him, you guys gotta get along. Like, no. Or I love her, whatever.
And then I would say the second thing, this is for the parents, of course, is just you got to be flexible, because both sets of kids come from two sets of parenting styles. And so at times it's hard to be flexible, especially if you're one of those parents, kind of like we are, you know, where we really focus on actually um, um, guiding our children, disciplining our children, teaching them. But, you know, of course, we don't do it in the same style, so it's different. And so you got to be much more flexible and understanding, and you have to adjust and you have to adapt, and you have to understand how to now have a new approach with maybe how you would have had an approach before with your own kids. And now you got another set of kids, so you can't take that same approach. And so that's a big factor. That's a big factor. The third thing I would probably say is, this is gonna suck, but three things. Yeah. Third thing is, you're gonna have to try to find like a stamp, hook up, or connect or something. Cause dude, we go through so much food. So try to find a food connect, a food hook up or something.
Man.
Okay, find somebody who can get you some wholesale food. Go to a butcher.
Food.
Do anything y'all gotta do.
Kill your own food.
For real.
No,
Go out there with the bow and arrow. Motherfucker, you see a muskrat over there, just shoot the motherfucker. Shoot his ass.
Shut.
Gotta bring it home and cook it up for the kids, because it's too expensive to feed them now.
Right.
They eat so much.
Not for
I mean,
every day.
man.
I wish.
Dang. and then food done skyrocketed. You buy a bag of groceries now, it's $20.
A bag.
$20 a bag. Like, how how is that even that was never even a
That's crazy.
how $20 a bag.
So the third thing is have a connect.
You
A
gotta
food
have a
connect.
food connect. Food connect.
Number
Absolutely.
one, what?
Number one is damn. What was number one?
Choose the right.
Yes, number one was self accountability. Choose the right person with the right kids. Okay. Number two was be flexible in parenting styles, and be flexible. You got to be flexible. And then number three is got to get that food. Got to get it. Okay. I mean, just do what you got to do. Okay. And all bets are off. Well, you got to feed a big ass family. All bets are off.
Babe, whatever. You're crazy. You're crazy. Yeah. I guess that's the biggest problem when it comes to blending families is the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But even blending families that people don't have kids and they gotta blend siblings of the other person or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not our dynamic, but
Mm-hmm.
that can make somebody leave somebody too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of guys.
Dang.
Yeah, it's happened to me. And that sucked. Because the relationship itself was going great. It was just the kids.
So it's just the kids. It's usually just the kids. It's never really like the other family.
No.
Like you don't like their sister.
No,
you don't like
it
their
ain't
mom.
like
that
that.
don't matter
No.
when you blend in families.
No.
It always got something to do with
with
children.
The kids, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that stuff don't matter. You'd be like, I'm not marrying your family. I'm marrying you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, here's the thing, though, right? If you're a thorough person and you're a decent person, a hardworking, law-abiding citizen of the world, then you typically get along with the family. There's not typically a whole lot of like animosity and like, oh, we don't like this person or that person. If you guys are just normal people in society, there's no reason for no one not to like you unless you're just that type of personality that's just not likable. So that's why you don't have to really worry about that kind of factor when it comes to doing it right.
Yeah.
You know?
You're right.
I'm not really, I'm not really talking about all little one-off situations that,
Right.
those crazy toxic situations. I'm talking about just average normal situations of people going out here in this world and they want to find love or they want to find love again. And they just so happen to find someone that they really like and these people have kids. And so you got to understand and know how to navigate it, because if you don't make the right decision and pick the right woman, who's got good kids, or you pick a guy who's got terrible kids and he has no control over them, trust me, it most often than not will not work out. It'll go bad. It really will. I've seen it. I've been through it. And I've seen other guys go through it as well. I've seen other women go through it as well. So, what? No, I'm glad them situations.
No, I'm not talking about that.
What?
Crazy. I'm like, you look high.
Oh, you what the hell? But yeah, so you pass me the water, babe. Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's it right there. Mm-mm. Why we gotta cut out drinking water?
Cause he's about.
I know. That will. You know, you gotta wet the palate, especially when you're talking so much. Yeah, babe. But yeah. So blended families, you know, it's definitely possible. It's definitely it can be a smooth situation if you do it right. But you gotta take some take a whole lot of personal responsibility. You gotta do the work. You gotta be diligent and you gotta do the work if you want a good outcome. You know, if you skip a whole bunch of steps and you just think that it's gonna work out just because you're that you're that woman or that guy, 9 times out of 10, you're in for a rude awakening. It's gonna really suck too. I've seen it go so bad, you know, and I've seen it go good. We're an example of it. So I can only give you guys, you know, my assessment of it from all the years of experience that I've, you know, witnessed it and been through it firsthand, secondhand, and third hand. So yeah.
Yeah.
So blended families. Well, that was a good discussion. That was a great discussion.
I think so.
I want to thank everybody that subscribed. Like, you guys are great. Seriously. Like, you guys really came through for us. We do apologize that we were not able to go live on this one. But because we had to get to the 50 subscribers, which we hit. Woo! We hit the subscribers. So that's amazing. It really is. We appreciate the support. We're not even doing this for none of that. We just kind of want to have some great conversations, really. And we just want more people to really be able to, you know, take a moment out of their day to really be able to think about something other than just the craziness they're going through. So,
or if they are going through it,
yeah.
Just to know somebody else, you're not the only one.
Absolutely. And that's the reason why, you know, we decided to do this, because we're real people living in the real world. And, you know, we know some people really appreciate the perspective of people who are still, you know, living on the front lines of life, as you can call it.
I say living life on the edge.
Living life dangerously.
Dangerously. Living too dangerous.
Man, so we appreciate y'all. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please push the like. Like the video. It's that little thumbs up little icon. Just press that. And it would actually point people in our direction to just be able to watch the video and be able to have the discussion at home if they decide to after they watch it. So
yeah, that'd be good. Like I heard today.
Yeah.
And I thought that we should talk about it too.
Yeah. So people, feel free to leave comments in the comment section. You know, let us know your blended family situation, like how good it went or how bad it went as well.
Right.
You know, eventually we want to get around to reading the comments once we get our live chat going. So please feel free to leave us comments in the comment section though. You know, we really would like feedback as far as what you think about blended families and, you know, your experience. So until next time, guys, I'm Dion. This is
Okay.
And this is Let's Talk.